If the brain doesn't have any pain sensory nerves, why in the world do we get headaches then? That is a great question. Dancing eyeballs, can syphilis make you crazy? And is picking your nose dangerous? Huh? Today we're breaking down and answering medical questions that some may just be too afraid to ask. Brace yourselves, this combo may get a little bit weird. All right, let's dive right in. Is it true if you don't go to the bathroom to take a leak, your kidneys will pop? No, your kidneys won't pop. I've seen kidneys rupture due to trauma, but not from not going to the bathroom. Your bladder starts filling up, you start getting horrible pain down in your pelvic area. You get hydronephrosis, which is just a swelling of these kidneys and the ureters. The pain in itself will cause you to get help. So it won't pop, but you'll be in extreme pain if you don't urinate. Next question, is it possible to puke from stress? Yes, we see this very often. People get nauseous and they vomit due to stress, anxiety, being overwhelmed. If you find yourself to be one of these individuals, please talk to your doctor and make sure that you have an antiemetic medication at the house. Have you guys ever thrown up from stress? Let me know in the comments. Can the tailbone be removed like wisdom teeth, or is the tailbone necessary for the human skeletal to stay intact? Yes, you could remove the tailbone, but it's quite rare because people can have chronic pain and dysfunction of this area, but it theoretically could be removed. Whereas wisdom teeth, there's a lot of people out there without the wisdom teeth. I have my wisdom teeth removed. Doesn't mean I don't have wisdom. How many of you out there are sans your wisdom teeth? Next question. I've seen some people's eyes moving a little bit side to side without them noticing. Is it a trait that someone is born with, or is there something else like a disease going on? I also wonder if you can see normally, or does it affect what they look at move like their eyes do? Yes, so that's called nystagmus. Nystagmus is when the eyeballs kind of wiggle. Sometimes, yes, there is a cranial nerve dysfunction that can cause this, or if you have bad vertigo, this could occur. Basically, shaking of the eye will actually induce significant amount of dizziness and cause nausea and vomiting. Some people might actually not notice it, but it's quite fatigable. Everybody has a little bit of it, but after one or two kind of ticks of it, it typically is fatigued and doesn't happen anymore. My poop literally became 100% liquid, and my stomach just wants to push it out from time to time. What is wrong with me? 100% liquid poop. Typically when somebody says it's liquid, to me that is diarrhea. But liquidy stool basically means that the intestines are not absorbing the water within the stool itself, and your body is trying to get it out of you. And usually it is infectious. If it's something that has become more consistent, definitely get checked out by a gastroenterologist. Next question. Is it true syphilis can cause one to go mad if not treated, and why? Yes. Syphilis is a STI, a sexually transmitted infection that causes an ulcer, a painless ulcer. There is multiple different stages of syphilis. One of them is called neurosyphilis. And so, yes, if it goes untreated, it affects your brain and the nervous system. It can cause mental disorder. If you're concerned about it, get tested. There is blood tests that you can do, but it's bacteria that's super easy. It's treated with 1 or 2 shots. Next question. What does vaping do to the body? Well, vaping in itself can cause harm to the lungs. Just like cigarettes, when they first came out, they thought they were healthy for individuals.
Tens of thousands of doctors in all branches of medicine in all parts of the country were asked that question.
Until many, many years later, and they found that they were very bad for us. Same with vaping. Vaping right now they're saying is better than cigarettes, so it's a better alternative. But again, there's no long-term studies of this stuff, and you don't know exactly what chemicals are in the liquid that you're vaping. Just something to be aware of. Where is earwax made? So earwax is also called cerumen, and basically it's a combination of the oils that the skin of our ear canal make mixed with the dead skin cells of the ear canal, as well as dust and debris that gets in there, as well as the point of it is actually to protect the eardrum from the dust and debris that we encounter in the environment. Where do crab lice come or originate from, and how are they dangerous? Crab lice is basically a parasite that feeds on human blood. It's typically found in the pubic region. Okay, it's different than exact lice that we see on somebody's head or head lice. They spread through close contact with somebody who has this, or you're sharing garments, so please be aware of that. While they're not dangerous, they're more of a nuisance and irritating and very itchy. All right, next one. I have scoliosis. I've heard it's possible that I could pass it on to future children. Is that true? Yes, there is a component of genetics when it comes to scoliosis. So it is possible to pass it along to your offspring, but there are also other factors that also go into this. Up to 80% is actually unknown what actually causes it, but arthritis, osteoporosis, degeneration of the discs, etc. And obviously running in your family. Next one. What is electroconvulsive therapy, aka ECT? ECT is basically a medical therapy for psychiatric conditions like severe depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. It kind of can be used almost for any psychiatric therapy, and basically using controlled energy to shock the brain to almost try to reset it. It is relatively safe. Pretty much the major side effect has to do with amnesia, but it's usually just to the event. Next question. I have an IUD and a lot of people I know have them or have had them. I was wondering if there is a way to tell whether the IUD is in place or not. Like, how do I know if it is at risk of falling out or if it is at risk of puncturing the uterus? Thanks so much again. Have a great day. So what is an IUD? It's an intrauterine device, and basically there's a couple different kinds. Sometimes there's just ones that like is copper and it just causes irritation to the uterus, preventing. So it's basically birth control. Also, there's a string attached to these because that's how you get them out. And if the string length has changed, the position might have changed as well. Just something for you to be aware of. If the brain doesn't have any pain sensory nerves, why in the world do we get headaches then? That is a great question. So the brain tissue itself is insensate. And there are other components that have nerves around blood vessels. The meninges has nerves. And there are different types of headaches. There's migraine headaches, there's cluster headaches, and there are tension headaches. Those are the big ones that are out there. And again, they have multiple different mechanisms. Okay, next question. Hypothetically speaking, could you shock someone with an electric eel if their heart stopped in the wild? Well, in a biphasic machine, we're using 200 joules, and in a monophasic machine, we're actually using 360 joules. So if an electric eel can give an equivalent amount of energy, then sure, it's good in theory. All right, next question. Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paulson. I know he bit someone's ear in the past. Have you ever seen a bitten off ear? It is not very common, but people do heinous and mean things to individuals. And yes, I've seen an ear bitten off, pieces of it coming off. Luckily, if you have the piece of ear and it's within a good timely manner, there is a chance that you can actually put it back. Please don't bite each other's ears. Next question. What do you do if your dissolvable sutures don't dissolve? That is a great question. You can cut them out. So do I advise you as the individual to cut them out? No. If they're still in after the period of time that the doctor recommended a suture to be in, maybe get it checked out, and if they are still there, they can remove them. Next question. Why do we have different type of blood types? Seriously, it's weird.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Well, the different type of blood types are related to genetic variations and variability. We are very unique individuals, and thus, as we have evolved, there have been different types of blood types out there. So you have A, you have B, you have AB, and you have O. And then you also have the RH factor, which is the positive or the negative. So you have those combos, and then you actually have the very, very rare individual out there who is RH null. They don't have a negative or a positive. So, yep, there's a lot of different genetic variability when it comes to our blood type. Last question. Is picking your nose dangerous? Who doesn't like to pick their nose?
Hold it.
But make sure you pick your nose with a Kleenex or a tissue. Please do not use your finger that's bare. It increases the risk of infection, cuts in your nose. And they were trying to show a study recently that sometimes the infection can potentially go to your brain. So just be aware of this and don't pick your nose and don't flick it on your friends. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Anyways, these were great questions. Thank you so much for sending them in, and please keep them coming. I'm happy to answer any medical question. No question is off topic, so please send it our way. Also, I made fast-acting health supplements with you in mind. No matter what the issue, I got you covered. Check out Life Happens. You take them only when you need them. And if you guys enjoyed this, definitely check out this playlist right here. Lots of good information. And as always, please make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.